righty. Well, we already mentioned the top news of the week, which is the Dice Tower Game Found campaign will be launching later today. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But let's talk about unfortunately, some sad news. First, Alan Emrich, who is the game designer and writer who coined the term 4X, has passed away. He wrote and did some stuff for Consim World. He was the founder of board game publisher Victory Point Games.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, so Victory Point Games, they've done a lot of different games. He also worked on a lot of video games way back in the day, including Master of Orion 3, of which we just played.
Yes.
The board game version of yesterday or 2 days ago. And he was a consultant on the 2016 Masters of Orion remake, and I really need to hunt down a remake of Masters of Orion.
I played it the other day.
The video game.
Then no, I did not play.
You were right about that joke, Dirth.
Yeah, I hear you. We need the influx.
That's why we have a game found.
Okay. Oh, this is sad. Yeah, I like Victory Point's games. As a company, they had an interesting idea. They did it differently. It was not just another publisher.
Really?
Whether you liked what they did or not, they were different.
All right. Diamond Comic Distributors has declared bankruptcy, and they own Alliance Game Distributors, so that is a big deal. There was a buyout bid for them. Universal Distribution is buying them. And I got to be honest, I don't understand a lot about bankruptcy and how everything's. I read the document they printed, and one of the things I thought was funny, in the document that they sent out to all the people who they worked with, they're like, you still need to pay us. Don't default on your payments to us just because we're going bankrupt. Because a lot of stores order from Alliance, right?
Right.
So I order 50 games. Like, we're going bankrupt. Free games. You still got to pay.
That's true.
Diamond, for a while, was almost a monopoly on their control of the comic industry. If you owned a comic store, you ordered from Diamond. And then Alliance was, at once, easily the biggest of the board game distributors. And they're still pretty high up there. Their GMT was the other one, probably. Right. So how that will affect all this, I do not know. I know that the distributors themselves have taken a big hit since 2020. And the pandemic, not just the pandemic, the shipping crisis, and just the fact that more and more publishers are just simply straight, circumventing distributors.
Yeah.
So I don't know what this means for the future, but it has happened, or it's happening. So, all right. Origins Awards.
Exploded or something. Horrible things only are happening.
All righty. Well, no, they announced their new categories. So they changed up their categories. So the 2025 categories are board games.
In the
board game category.
That's a good one.
Here are the board game categories.
Go.
Gateway Game of the Year.
That's good.
We don't use that term?
I don't like the term, but fine.
Nope, we're over
Cooperative/solo Game of the Year.
I love
that.
that.
We don't use those terms?
Heavy strategy.
Nope.
Light strategy.
Yes.
Party game.
Okay.
And constructible Game of the Year.
Excuse me?
Like magnetics and stuff?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Lego
games?
wins every year.
I'm pretty sure it's going to go to Monkey Palace.
That's it.
I guess they mean
Ringer.
CCG, but then why is it underneath board games? Whatever.
Constructible?
What?
Yeah.
Constructible does not imply perhaps what they think they imply. No, that means I would have to be...
You're constructing a deck.
That's a stretch of how that word can be used. Constructible means I made the magic cards.
They don't want to use the word collectible. That's what it is.
Expandable, I don't know. Constructible sounds weird. It's an awful Voltron sounding word.
In their miniatures, they have miniatures game of the year, paint hobby accessory of the year, miniature of the year. In role playing, they have role playing game of the year.
With the one miniature of the year?
Yeah, I think so. Well, like you buy
I guess people do buy sold minis. Yeah.
Paint hobby thing, that's interesting. Like
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm interested to see its innovation in that. Oh.
Then they have products of the year. They have product of the year, a randomized product of the year, and product of the year fixed. I'm actually not sure what that means. I'm assuming
that is collectible versus not collectible.
And then they have overall recognition of one game of the year. You can nominations can be made by publishers, retailers, and creators. And a jury of industry experts will select the nominees, and I assume they will announce them at GAMA the Gamma Trade Show, which I'll be at this year.
It's interesting how focused they are, how, into their algorithm here. They take collectible and expandable games.
Yeah.
Well, they do get a lot of money from it, so why would you not? It's just every year
I know,
a Magic set release, and you're like, there's your nominee for that year.
Yeah, right.
Right.
On a side note, did you hear that when the Magic set, the Secret Lair, Marvel was launched, their website crashed.
Wow.
From pre-orders.
Really?
Yeah. It's going to be their biggest set by a mile.
Yeah.
Or sets, because they're doing multiple.
Right. Spider-Man.
Origins definitely will. If there was an award given for award that's changed the most times,
it would go to them.
It would go to Origins.
And they would give it to themselves.
I am glad that they dropped Best Review of the Year.
That was, yeah.
That was
a
weird,
thing?
especially since one of the nominees and first one was a review of Origins.
Did it win?
It did not, I don't think.
Because it was a negative review. It's like,
now, that's a good joke.
It's more a warning.
So we'll see. All right. Let's talk about some games. First, we have... I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce this.
What?
It's time backwards and time forwards.
Oh, I hate that. Time. Mit.
Time. You got to say the second time backwards.
Tiamat. Time.
Anyway, one player takes the role of Nora. The other is taking the role of Aaron, which is...
Oh, my goodness. It's just like, is there going to be a palindrome game?
That's all it's about.
Aaron was an AI created by Nora that now wants to jump to their shared spaceship from the starting point of 2100 to 2220.
You should have a race car.
Those dates should be flipped too.
What's going on with that?
Forward and backward.
In order to work with its future self to eliminate humanity.
I like that part.
Nora, as you might imagine, finds this idea distasteful and instead wants to travel back to 1980 to eliminate the possibility of humanity-hating AI from coming into existence, where she will enlist the help of John Connor. That's not true.
So this is pro AI propaganda?
No, it's anti. Well, one player is pro AI, the other person's pro humanity.
But it started in the 80s. That's when the guy was like, here's where we start.
Yeah.
I hope the game is good because that cover, I would never buy the game based on that cover.
Or the name?
Well, including the name as part of that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This seems weird. And then the pictures, the cards is like an E = MC square shirt and a bottle of like condensed milk. What
this
is
coming
happening?
From Spanish publisher Zacatras. Well, we're not getting much better. Atlas Game is releasing a game called Catastronauts, the board game.
Oh, buddy. Isn't this already out or something?
I know, I've heard of this. This is it's a 6-book young adult novel series.
Young adult, not kids.
It's definitely for kids, right? Young adult.
This is like Harry Potter.
Particularly young adults?
From Harry Potter, you jump into Catastronauts.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Anyway, you're going to take the role of one of your favorite Catastronauts, such as Major Meowser, Waffles, Blanket, and Pom Pom.
Oh, I'm going to buy this for the young adult that I have to trade gifts with.
No, man, no.
Anyway, you win or lose the game as a team. It's a co-op game, 30 to 45 minutes.
It's cute, you know?
No, it's not.
It's okay, I have an 8-year-old girl.
Space cats and where to find them.
All right, let's jump to a very opposite end of the board here.
A good
Ares
game.
Games has announced the release of Mega Empires.
Oh!
So Mega Empires is already out. They're re-releasing it. There was 2 of them, Mega Empires the West, which was already, I think it was a 16-hour game or something. And
What?
I'm not kidding.
Oh, you talking about campaign, like a scenario?
No, one play.
This is a 3 to 18 player game when you put them together. I know that.
You need both. If you want to play 18 people, you need both.
But I think they are putting them together, yeah, because the other ones were only...
It's the big box.
The other ones were only 5 to 9 and then 3 to 9. I know for sure at some of the Dice Tower conventions,
it's been played.
Some people played this. Jerry, the guy who owns Cool Stuff, he would every day be like, today is Mega Empires Day, and they would come in and play for 23 hours straight.
He's still playing today.
Really? Have you guys played this?
No.
You
I
already
don't
knew the
know.
answer. What was it? 23 hours.
I assumed.
The longest game I think I've ever played
Was
like
38
10 hours, maybe.
minutes, I want to
Was
say.
it
Twilight Imperium
Imperium?
game, yeah.
Yeah.
I think. I don't think I've played a game longer than that.
I think the longest game I've ever played was StarCraft.
The board game?
Yeah. It's
That's-
really long. It's many hours.
I definitely have played a 6-hour game of StarCraft. When I lived in Korea, Jeff Engelstein came to visit, and we had just got him. Like, this will be our first game of the day. Also, our only game of that day.
Joey doesn't know about that game.
No.
Be a real gamer for
it
like
terrible?
10 minutes.
I thought it was a video game.
Never
Anyway,
heard of
here's
it.
the thing, though. People do like this a lot.
Apparently.
And it is a big convention thing, so for people who want this is exciting.
It'll be in the library.
Did someone just say this is my 10 by 10 challenge? Go for it. All right. Time Lancers. This is coming from Tampa-based publisher Waddling Panda.
Do you know them? Tampa Bay?
I know the place.
The people. Tampa
No.
Bay, you said?
I don't know everybody.
So I really dislike that cover. It looks like you talk about a cover that looks like generically generated,
Oh my
right?
gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like AI or something, but like bad AI. 1980s AI.
got a
Well, no,
Bond
that
look.
well, you're right. That looks like a VHS cassette.
It
Where they're
does.
like the Matrix just came out, and they're like Time Lancers.
Yeah.
you
It
know.
looks like a knockoff of like Time Cop from, Van
that was a
Damme or
good
something.
one. Don't spoil my list.
The board itself doesn't look as bad there.
No, I like the board.
Everything else there. It's a 1 to 4 player game. This was crowdfunded in November of 23. Anyway, you're trying to change the future.
There's a lot of timey-wimey stuff today, huh?
Yep. Here's something new from Kids Table Board Games. It's Nana Toradori. And this is the thing that's new is I don't believe they've ever done a partnership with someone before.
Mm-hmm.
So this is with ArcLight Games. It's a big, I don't know if it's a big, it's a trick-taking game.
What?
I'm sorry. It's a card shedding game. I'm confused. Trick-taking and card shedding, I think, are very different. The only game I think that combines them is
Ladder
Feature.
climbing.
ladder climbing, card shedding.
Yeah.
They're
They
really,
get lumped together a
They
lot. I
do,
don't know
but
why.
they're really like if you like trick taking, you may not like the other one, and
I
vice
agree.
versa.
I
Although
agree.
there is a lot of crossover between people who like both of them. It's just confusing to me if you say trick taking and then you mean the other one. Anyway, I'm not sure. It just says it's a race to shed your hand of mixed up feather friends through a series of climbing tricks. Sounds like ladder.
Yeah, it does.
As you play, craft your hand with new birds to create unbeatable combinations. Anyway, it's coming in Q2 of this year.
Okay, cool.
Renegade is bringing Naishi to the English-speaking markets. This is a game. It's a hand optimization and tableau building game set in feudal Japan. I'm not 100%
I
sure
like the look of this.
I like the look of it a lot.
who the original publisher is. Oh, Merle Editions. And this is coming out in July, which means Gen Con.
That looks cool. I don't know what's happening there, but I like cars with powers and stuff. I'm in.
and holders.
All right, let's talk about some stuff from All Play. First, we have Merchants of Andromeda. This is a reprint of Reiner Knizia's Merchants of Amsterdam.
Yeah. And from what I understand, it is heavily modified. And to that I say, thank you. That game sucked.
Yes, it was extensively developed by Bebop designer Robert Havakamanyan. Anyway, it's a 3 to 5 player game. You're casting votes, bidding on lucrative space goods. I like that cover a lot.
Cover's cool.
Yeah.
That is like almost like a science fiction magazine cover from the 80s or 70s.
Yes,
yeah.
I love that retro sci-fi
I love
stuff.
that. Yep. I do too. Pulp type.
Pulp,
sci-fi.
yes.
Yeah.
La Poule.
Also from All Play, Alibis is a 2 to 6 player cooperative game. It's a new version of Nigoichi from Yusuke Sato, and the original publisher was Jelly Jelly.
Okay, this is a remake of which one now?
Nigoichi.
Interesting. I wonder if Mike, I'm sure, knows this game, but, you know.
You're revealing clues and trying to get people to figure out words. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, cool. Okay, I like it. They're picking some really funky stuff. I love the stuff that they're making accessible.
Well, they have a new one, and this is not a reprint coming from them, and that's Twinkle Twinkle. This is from Ammon Anderson, who's best known for Gnome Hollow.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
So there's a tile laying game. We're going to fill your star chart with clear plastic tiles, trying to connect constellations, build belts of asteroids, collect comets, pick up planets, and study them with satellites.
Sounds cute.
Also, it says it's going to come with a handy scoring app that lets you point your phone at the board and watch it magically tally up your points.
Let's
Ooh.
go.
Finally.
2025 is the future, baby.
Yes, we're there.
Point your phone at stuff.
Shots fired.
All right. They're also releasing Waddle. This is a reprint, again, of Corne Van Morsel's game from Quali called Gypsy King. Was the original one. And now it's just called Waddle.
Nice. And it looks to be in that size, that little square size, I bet, because it has that font.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But then they have their tiny card game line.
The
They
really
have
small
some very
ones, yeah.
popular ones this year.
Tiny
Rainbow,
one.
and what's the one you like, Chris?
Fairy.
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 Rainbow and Fairy. Well, now they got Slambo.
Look at that.
Oh, I'm in.
I was
That's
I was telling
comfortable.
Mike the art there by Sawi Beppo. She managed to make those sumo wrestlers look even more fat. Like just a few lines that I could see the rolls jiggling there.
Yeah.
Oh, they're very large gentlemen.
Yeah, they're not even fighting there. They're just like congratulating on a good match.
I like the collision lines on the outside. It looks like they just slapped together, and then you got the lines coming out of them. I like that.
That's
Slambo.
And for the Emperor, the first one's 2 to 4 player Slambo. For the Emperor is 2 player only, where you're trying to control things. This is from Whitney Lorraine. Also, same artist, by the way, which I think is pretty impressive. That both those covers is the same artist.
that's some.
That's
And
wild, yeah.
They're very clearly not
They don't look the same at
different
all.
styles.
Different
I like
styles,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have one style.
Yeah, the first one you're like, okay, what else can you do? If they the second one, if they gave the first one, you're like, okay, that seems like that's all you can do. That's like those styles are man.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
But can you draw thin people? And she's like, bam.
with armor.
All right. Hook
Ooh.
has announced some new releases for 2025. Rising Cultures. This is an interesting looking 2-player game which has asymmetrical factions built from multi-use cards. You have 4 different civilizations, each with its own unique deck. Sounds a little bit like Monumental Duel almost. But with these cards, you're going to use them for resources, for military, build buildings, or play unique leaders.
I'm liking it.
I agree. Sounds good.
I'm all about it.
Then Kilia.
Oh,
I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Kilia? Maybe.
Kelia, yeah.
It's a 2 to 4 player game from first-time designer Lars Erzman. Oh, it's based on Kiel, or Kiel, Kiel, Germany. It's a port city, and you're building a canal, I
Le
believe.
Havre. Just call it the harbor next time.
Hold that thought.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding. The Royal Society of Architects. Here, this is a 1 to 4 player game. This is from Atlia, publisher, and
Italia, right? Italia, I think.
Italia, yes, maybe.
It's an Italian publisher, I think.
You're trying to get better and better at being archaeologists. This is a theme, actually, that's not used as much. It was pretty big for a while in the early aughts.
It did. It had its moment, didn't it? Late 90s, early 2000s. Like, it felt like every other game was about discovering an ancient civilization that had been forgotten kind of thing. Archaeological pursuits. That was everything. That was all the big games. But you're right. This is not very often now put in a game. I did have a good laugh at somebody in the comments for this announcement over on BGG. It was like, there never was a Royal Society of Archaeologists, a made-up thing. This other one existed, and this other one, but this one is gobbledygook, you know? It's like they were like just upset that this was made up, I guess.
yeah.
It's like, all right, but also...
I saw that same comment. I
made
was
up.
like, I also am outraged.
I get what you're saying, but maybe it's not based on history.
You're right.
Maybe it's just a game.
All right. Simsala Spin. This is a cooperative memory game.
Pass
Oh.
and pass.
But one of the designers, Knizia.
Oh.
I'm back in, baby.
And
Sure.
Martino, I cannot pronounce that last name. Chiacchiera.
I can't even see it.
Anyway, these are the same two designers who worked on Witchstone in the past. So now you're going to work with cauldrons, but you need the right ingredients. But you have to uncover them in lines. It's a cooperative memory game. I really got to say I'm not excited about this.
Mike is going to have a dilemma with this.
He doesn't have a dilemma.
He doesn't like
He needs
memory.
Positive.
Really? Even over memory? Okay.
We did the top 100 games, and he was struggling to put stuff on the bottom. All right.
Those kids' eyes don't look right. They look like they've been sniffing that cauldron too much.
Having that tea.
Keyside is the next game from R&D Games with Hook. This is from Richard Breese, but also David Turtzi. So if you thought Richard Breese's games weren't complicated enough, have no fear.
I'm telling you, I swear, you show me that box and I'm like, yeah, it's one of the Key games. It's been out.
I agree. This looks like it already exists.
Come on, man. I like that you have Key whatever things and the title is always in the same font and what have you. But they also all look the same.
Well, except for, so I like, at first it was like Cathedral. I'm like, all right. Well, there was Key Town first, right?
Yeah.
Then Cathedral. And then Key Flower. Okay, those are three different things. I can remember the difference between those. And then all the rest sound like Keyflower.
Keyside is all, it's just not very inspired.
No.
What if he wants to do one about, connect a bunch of islands, like Keys?
Ooh.
What would he name that? Keys.
That's a
I might
delivery
play that
service
one, actually.
for witches. All right. Ink. Do you like that colorful
Ooh.
cover? This is from Casper Lapp. This is a 1 to 4 player game, and this game is coming from Final Score. What's Final Score, you might wonder?
What
This
is
is
that?
the third company from Sophia. I'm sorry, not Sophia. Sophie Gravel. Her first company, which was Philosophia, and then she bought Z-Man Games, then sold that to Asmodee. She then started a new company called Plan B. Plan B got big, made mega hits like Azul. She sold that to Asmodee. She's now starting a third company. I think this is it because it's called Final Score.
It'd be cheaper for Asmodee just to hire her.
You think so?
let's just jump to the end.
Final Score, and then after this one, Psych. Just kidding. The publisher.
No,
What
it's like Rebirth, Phoenix Rebirth.
Oh, Phoenix Publishing. Yes.
I will say this: with her on the project, though,
Oh,
I'm
you better
automatically
be.
interested.
You better be careful. It's gonna be a
she
mega
knows
hit.
how to find good games.
Yeah.
I mean, she was involved with many of these different companies, with bringing on Plaid Hat, finding Emerson and making him a household name essentially.
Yeah.
And then Kiesling, like she went to him and she was like, "What if you didn't use Cromer?" And he was like, "I don't know. Can I do that?" Yes, he can.
I know. That's amazing.
Is that an option?
Anyway, I hope this game is good. It's a 1 to 4 player game. You are deploying your talent by creating sumptuous paintings. And that's pretty much all I know. But that will be present at the Cannes Festival in February 2025. You can demo it there. I don't know when it's coming out.
Interesting.
All right. Trismegistus is getting a second edition. New player boards redesigned for alchemic precision. Trismegistus is one of the heaviest of the quote-unquote T games from Board and Dice. One of the problems it has is it was difficult to parse the game. I like it a lot, but it's difficult to parse it because there was just so much information and it wasn't particularly, the UI wasn't great.
Okay.
So they're saying they're redesigning that part of it. I think they're redesigning the game somewhat too.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see. But second edition, I know this one did not do as well as the other 3 or 4 that came out at this time. All right, I got this email very proudly from the Catan Studios where they're like, "Do not spoil this information." And so I did not until now. But there's a 6th edition of Catan coming. Completely different, as you can see from that picture.
What game is that?
So I looked at this picture for a long time and looked at the different assets they sent me, and I'm trying to figure out what's different. I mean, I guess the artwork's different, right? Although if you ask me which edition any artwork was from, I would not know. I know first edition because that's iconic.
Okay.
I think the pieces are plastic now or rewood or something like that. And they basically are like, it's different, but also don't worry, we didn't change anything type situation.
Okay.
It's the 30th anniversary, I believe. And they're re-releasing everything. Seafarers, Cities of Knights, Treasure, Barbarians, Explorers, Pirates, and the 5 to 6 expansions for all those.
Wow. So they're rebooting it.
I guess, but it doesn't. Like, if you ask me, is this a new edition, yes or no question, I'd be like, no, that's the one that exists now. It isn't, but I wouldn't be able to tell you that.
Just better components, so they're saying? Like,
They changed the artwork. I think it was their big thing was like, oh, no, I know what it was. They said one of the big things is, well, it's more user-friendly. It's easier to teach and learn now.
have you had a problem teaching Catan?
No, but my point being, they're now reaching for like the 10-year-olds. You know what I mean?
Okay,
at this
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Do you find it interesting how small Klaus Teuber's name is on that cover now?
That is kind of weird. His name is even smaller than the game on there. It is above everything else. But
why is the game even on the box? Is this as opposed to Catan?
the film,
Well, they are making a movie of it, aren't they?
100%.
Are they really? They've been talking about
Spielberg is on it like white on rice.
it. The Rock. It's going to be great.
I'm watching a Tarantino Catan. All right.
Can you imagine?
But there's more stuff coming from
Zack
this.
Snyder.
This is the thing I'm most interested in. Cosmos is bringing out an exit game set in the world of Catan, Adventures on Catan, which incidentally has a better cover than Catan. That's a great little cover.
That's a good cover.
It's the same image, right? But they're just kind of cropping it in a
Yeah,
little.
but I like that cropping. Anyway, this is coming out, blah, blah, blah. This is a new exit game. It's coming out in June.
That's cool, man.
I like this. This makes me
Let's
think.
do it. Let's go to Catan.
I could read stories about that whole world thing. That's interesting.
We're not done with Cosmos yet, though. Cosmos is also coming out with a family edition of The Crew Family Adventure, which when I first saw this box, my eyes rolled over and I thought it was another Survive. It really has the look of Survive.
It does.
They really should have got the Robinson Crusoe theme for this, though. That's like public domain, right?
The Crew.
Yeah.
So.
The Crusoe Family Adventure, you're right.
Yeah, this one is, from what I understand, they're simplifying it partly by making it not a trick-taking game. That's the crazy thing. This is actually like Crazy Eights, where you just play number on number or color on color. So Uno. And this is co-op Uno to a certain degree. That's how they're simplifying
But that
this.
might just work.
Oh, that might be amazing, and that might outsell the other ones. But my point being, it's interesting that for the family one, they're like, you know what's too complicated for the family is trick-taking. And I don't necessarily disagree with that idea.
Trick-taking is a fairly
That's interesting.
complicated thing. A lot of people don't think so because they grew up in families where everyone played it all the time.
I agree.
So,
Now, Thomas Singh, he hated it as a kid.
more exit stuff. Exit the game family. There's 2 escape adventures in here. This is kind of a weird little thing because you are that group of animals there in the middle going to the Cape Rat Candy Castle and the mystery of Meanstone Manor. But one of those pictures, the Meanstone Manor, doesn't match those animals. Like, they're all going to go that one, and then they're going to die.
Why are
good
they
cover
like?
on the
There's a
left.
dog with an eye patch, and
He's been through some
are
stuff.
they
He
like
went to the
ninjas?
Meanstone Manor.
That's right. That's afterwards. That's in between.
Anyway, this feels a little new. This says it's for 8 and up. They already have an escape. I mean, they have exit kids and then exit.
Yes.
So this is like, I guess, in between, and there's 2 of them.
Wait, do they have exit kids or do they have unlock kids?
No,
do
they have exit kids, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if it says each one takes an hour to complete. I wonder if they're disposable or not.
Well, it'd be great if they were.
You mean like those heroes? Come on now, that's not. There's not going to be a TV series based on those guys.
Okay.
They're not
Let's just
gonna
put
make
it that way.
You think they're going to die at the end of this?
Also,
I
there
would
is
love for that to happen.
Exit the Game. The Venice Conspiracy is coming out. And
Ooh,
another Exit Kids game is coming out. Midnight Spooktacular. See, there you go. That's what the kids one looks
He
like.
also did it.
And they showed off the new calendar. The Exit the Game Advent calendar. The Intergalactic Race.
I didn't do mine from last year.
You did it?
No,
You're a
I bought
sucker.
it, and I'm like, should I just do it now, like all of a sudden in a row? I just kept forgetting. Should I say for next year?
You should do it with someone else so that they will help you. Like my kids, I do it with my kids, and they're like, let's do it.
Okay, so they'll remind you?
Yeah.
I really like this one. I like that cover a lot. And I like the idea of it being some weird sci-fi thing. You know what I mean?
Well,
The themes
Santa.
on these are...
Is that a rabbit?
That's a rabbit. Yeah, it's an intergalactic Santa Claus is a hare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you never heard of that?
No.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our final piece of news, which made no splash whatsoever on the internet, is the announcement of Finspan.
What is
from
that?
Stonemaier Games.
Another wings? I didn't. Wow. It's incredible.
We'll be playing this one live tomorrow, and then we'll be reviewing it later this week too. Finspan is the third in a trilogy, so he said he made 3 games in a trilogy. Wingspan was the first, and then the more gamery game being Wormspan, and then this is the more accessible one. And having played it, it's definitely going to be one of the easiest ones to teach, I think. Finspan.
Easier than Wingspan.
Yes. And I'll tell you why, because in just a real quick thing, in Wingspan, on the very first turn of the game, you get some cards, and you discard a certain number of cards to get food, right? And you keep other cards. You don't have to do that in Finspan. You just get some cards, and those cards are also your resources to some degree. It just that's just one decision at the beginning of the game, but it's a big deal.
And that's the only thing that's different. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking. Ooh, I'm starting things.
Cue 1 billion jokes about the name, and then 1 billion people coming in and yelling about the people who made the jokes, and then people yelling at those people saying, let people have fun.
BT Dubs, if you want to fly under the radar, rate the game a 2. No one can come after you if you rate it a 2.
Anyway, it's going to do very, very well.
Yeah.
So, and it's fish. In fact, one of the people in our game group, Alex Marks, was a consultant on this.
He is the fish guy, we call him.
Yeah.
Do we
He
call him
loves
that?
fish.
We're going to start calling him that now.
Not to his face, but yeah, we call him that.
You do
Yeah.
the little fish mouth.
Who's coming today? Oh, is Alex coming? That's what we do.
Wow.
All right,
Okay.
folks. That is the news. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. And you can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vassell.